Welcome back to Trench Talk. I'm your host, Koyos. I'm here joined by a very special guest today. I'm going to let him introduce himself a little bit.
Thank you for having me. So I'm Mazino. I'm a trader
Hmm.
and an investor, mostly cryptocurrencies. As for trading, investor, I'm also looking at indexes,
Nice.
buckets, stuff like that.
Yeah,
And yeah, I shit post on the internet.
that's very cool. Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to do this again. And I saw you've been in crypto since 2017. What was the first moment you realized, crypto was something more than just, to speculate on and wanted to take it seriously with trading?
That came in phases, actually. So of course, I think like 99% of the people was all about money, right? Because maybe I heard about Bitcoin earlier than that. I was keen for investments with a close friend of mine at the time, and we were like, "Oh, have you heard about these Bitcoins? Like $20." Oh
Hmm.
yeah, but I mean, sounds like bullshit. 1 year later, hey, look at these Bitcoins now, like $200.
Yeah.
And we were like, I mean, it went up 10x, so maybe it's not a good investment anymore. And then a year later, it's like $2,000. Okay, let's go. And then
Yeah.
here we are, right? And then the learning about the crypto and everything that came a little bit later when I was looking at
Yeah.
white papers and stuff like that. I was like, this thing is probably there's more to it, right? Than
Yep.
speculation in a way.
There's a lot more to it, yeah. So,
Mm.
whenever you kind of first started trading, how long did it take you to become profitable?
12 years. Yeah, I would say like, well, avoiding losing money badly,
Hmm.
probably 6 7 months, but then like earning money that you can withdraw on the regular. And it doesn't mean that replaces your job. At least it didn't for me at the time,
Hmm.
but it helps. And you can also grow the portfolio. I would say 1 year, and then being actually able to live off of it, probably two
Yeah,
years.
yeah, no, 100%. Now, I noticed you also have like a scalping series, that you've posted throughout your X account. How has your trading style, changed over the years since you started?
At the beginning, it was just buy and hold, right? And
Hmm.
then you go for the swing and try to get those significant moves and time bottoms and tops. But predicting stuff, we are not really predicting, but we're using statistical tools to guesstimate the direction of the market and the extent of the move. So if you want to give a very like brief definition. And it's there's I think it's in silico that said something like that online once. It's much easier to predict what you're going to do tomorrow afternoon, what you're going to do 3 months later
Yeah,
on a Friday afternoon, right? Even if you have a plan, it doesn't mean you're going to fulfill what's in your
yeah,
plan because I don't know, you break a leg or something came up, you have to go somewhere else, right? So that's why I shifted more and more towards the lower time frames. And yeah, if I had to classify myself, I would be a scalper. But that can also vary, right? It doesn't mean that the trade will always last a minute. Maybe the trade will last a few hours, or it's going to be rare, but I can also hold an overtime position if my thesis is still
yeah.
valid. But yeah, mostly lower time frame, right?
Mostly lower time frame. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I trade preps as well. I've been trading for about a year and a half, 2 years now, I would say. So not as much experience as you, but I've had my ups and downs and things like that with trading. But I've enjoyed it a lot. I've been trying to really document and journal my way through it, and I think that's been helping me a lot as well. And I know you've talked about before, just like simplifying everything and just going back to like basic level price, price action. What did simple mean for you, like in your trading?
Simplifying means that like at the time I wasn't profitable just because I was looking at too much stuff and confluence had to come from two or three indicators and I had the MA cross and I had the RSI oversold, overbought, divergence and this and that. Simplifying meant like go back to price action. If you look at my charts, yes, I have maybe lines or areas that I mark just for convenience, but I could do without those. Then maybe if I'm uncertain, I'm going to look at, you know, maybe RSI or Fisher or something like that. But
Yeah.
simplifying means really eliminate all the stuff that adds layers and complicates the decision before you pull the trigger. Doesn't
Hmm.
mean being, stupid and just, oh, up or down, just the chart there. But once you have a thesis, anything you add to that can be wrong.
Yeah.
So you add the chances of making a mistake. I'm trying to explain it as simple as possible,
Yeah. No,
mostly
it's
for
very good.
maybe the people that listen and that just got into trading. But if you are trading a support resistance, so level to level, and that's extremely profitable. Or maybe I will use market profile and try to trade inefficiencies, and that's simple.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people, they, whenever they first start, outside of just, simplifying things and, not putting too much on your screen, people, I feel like, go over the board with leverage. I know you're a big proponent on using less leverage, right? When it comes to
Yeah.
things. So, how do you think, new traders come in, with like the 100x and everything like that, and why you're big on using less?
So to me, like I understand why a new trader comes in and tries to use the 40, 50, or 100
Mm-hmm.
leverage because they want the kingmaker trade. They hear the story of a guy that made a huge trade, made a 50K, 100K, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
in one trade. And that thing is statistically unlikely, first, that you're going to nail a trade that you can hold for weeks against funding, against a lot of things, against liquidation, and make it. And no, I think that's probably the main reason. Or they see like the compound interest. Oh, if I only make a 1% profit on 100x leverage and I do that X amount of times, I'm gonna make $1 million.
Yeah.
Thing is, like, things seldom go in
Mm-hmm.
in life for anything. So I'm more like, yeah, it's true that you can make $1 million if you nail the next 50 trades on a 50x leverage, starting from, I don't know, 1,000 bucks.
Yeah.
This is hard. That's not going to happen because you're going to fuck up at least once and you're going to give it all back. And because even if you hear stories of the guys making, 10 million, 20 million trading in 6 months or in 3 months after starting, you're going to hear probably a matching amount of stories of people that gave it all back.
Yeah.
So it's hard to give it all back if you use one, two, three, five, 10x leverage,
Mm-hmm.
and especially if you use leverage to reduce your exposure. So let's say I have $100. I can use 10x leverage, but I'm going to take a like a dollar margin,
Yeah.
and my total position is going to be $100. That's what leverage was made for. Then in crypto, it became a way to increase your exposure to the
Yeah.
market. But you don't need that many trades. Then by all means, you can go really hard on a big swing. Let's say if we get Bitcoin at, I'm just saying, at 40K, 35K, then by all means, like, go 2x leverage long at that point, because chances are it's not going to go 50% down. And still, you can double your size, but or go with a prop firm.
I think the biggest thing too for leverage, I know at least I come from kind of the meme coin circle and stuff, and I know a lot of traders that have like moved, not moved, but also started picking up leverage trading and perps and stuff like that, and I've
Hmm.
seen them get into that degen mindset of max leverage 50, sometimes they'll go to 100x or even higher, and it may work for some time, but like you said, all it takes is that one to really blow up your account. So no, I'm also a huge proponent on using less leverage when you can as well.
There's something fun that if someone really wants to ditch and gamble, take $30. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, $30, $50, whatever, and scalp it. Literally scalp it at 40x, 50x to 100K or 50K or 30K, whatever is your goal. Just of course, the farther it is, the harder it is, right? Let's scalp it to 10K. That's not an insane amount of trades on that leverage, but at least you're not gonna blow up $1,000, $3,000, $5,000. Something that we used to do often. Scalp a duster, take a duster because you have a wallet lying around with 15, 20, $30. It happens, right? Just take that and scalp it on purpose. Then, if you really have a need for going degenerate on something, do it with a small amount of money. If you're good, you can still make 10, 20, 30K. And for many people, changes the balance of your year.
Definitely does.
Really, because many places on earth that people don't make that in a year.
Was there one specific trade loss or like a market period that forced you to kind of take risk management seriously? And like, what strategies have you implemented for yourself?
Several. From venue selection, because I said a couple of times already that I lost most of what I made. And probably I lost more than money on FTX.
It's
But
bad.
yeah, I was fucked. And that taught me, for example, venue selection is important and spreading out risk
Mm-hmm.
on venues. Now we have centralized exchanges, and you can just trade and take everything out of the exchanges back onto your wallet at the end of the day. Takes 1 minute to do, and your funds are safe.
Yeah.
I mean, the safety is up to you, but as far as exchange risk goes, your funds are safe.
I know we just talked about Bitcoin a little bit too. I know some people like, Taiki and others believe that, we've already bottomed, and then they will eventually continue to push. But others are more bearish. Where do you stand on, the current market if you have a
So
bias?
short, yeah, short term. I mean, Bitcoin, like I'm talking just about Bitcoin, but everything follows pretty
Yeah.
much. Bitcoin likes to repeat stuff. In terms of fractals, Bitcoin plays a lot of fractals.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, this still looks on the downtrend impulse that we had. So if you look at the 1 day chart, you can see that we had the channel above in November till end of January, and now we have a slightly longer channel, but it's playing a similar fractal. It looks very similar. That has started in late February. It has been going on for like 3 months. As I said before, like farther you go into the future, the harder it is to make a prediction. So I don't think we're going to go much lower. Maybe a 50K, 40K from here in Q4 if things like don't become fundamentally and structurally different from what they are. I don't think there's a lot of fear now in the market, but there's not much optimism. Then long term, 5 years, 10 years, I'm extremely bullish on crypto in general, Bitcoin in general. Maybe
Same here.
things would change. Banks are getting in, and we wanted banks until we got them, right?
Yeah. Speaking about, 5, 10 years down the line, what are your thoughts on hyperliquid and how it will perform over time? I know it's pushing a lot with a lot of these, IPOs, and people are talking about SpaceX one pre-IPO that just went live as well recently, and all the traction for that and pushing to like TradFi. Like what are your thoughts on all of that?
So hyperliquid specifically, hard to say because a specific business, just one specific business is hard to say what's going to happen because many things other than the macro and the fundamentals
Mm-hmm.
can go wrong, right? They can have a falling out as a team or, there's many things that can happen.
Yeah.
There's the human variable. In terms of the sector, I think that decentralized stuff will be more and more relevant. I don't think that traditional finance likes it because it's much more shady in terms of books, execution, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Traditional finance.
100%. I like that you mentioned, like a company can be as good as they can and be the, looked upon as the best. But there's a lot of outside variables that can still, shape the future, like structurally and stuff like that, like you mentioned. So, and no, I think it's a great way to look at it. Going back a little bit to trades, when you're looking over trades, after you've like exited, what matters more to you, whether a trade made money or like your entry and validation and exit, match the plan.
Well, of course, making money is the goal.
Yeah.
Like, if I won the trade, my mood would be definitely better. But if I lose a trade and I
Hmm.
respect the rules, I'm going to be okay with the loss because
Yeah.
I know that statistically my losses will not wipe my gains. It still happens that maybe I take a position and then I'm like, I kind of realize later that I wanted to be right and not that I wanted to do what the market suggested and maybe I added or maybe I moved my stop a tiny bit or I didn't close the position when I was supposed to because it was more bullish than I thought, or something stupid like that. I still do mistakes, and those losses are the ones that really take a toll on me. Because if I make a plan And now I'm posting it much more often on X in the morning Asia. So you're around this time,
Yeah.
Eastern Standard Time. But I post it for accountability, as that's the plan. That's what I'm going to trade. And if the setup does not show up, fine. I'm not going to take the trade. And if I'm invalidated, that's also good because I know that my risk is going to be controlled. You see that the risk reward is clearly outlined, and that's
Exactly.
not going to change.
Yeah.
So
And over
that's what matters.
yeah, definitely. And over time, like you mentioned, statistically you won't wipe your portfolio and things like that because you're sticking to your structure and plan. So I do want to ask, for the new traders out there, let's say if a new trader had 6 months, to build a real foundation, starting out, what would you tell them to study first?
That's a very good question, Brad. So it evolves over time. So if you ask me again next year, we should
Hmm.
do it again, like some
Yeah,
time and see
definitely.
how we evolved. But I now recommend people start from studying auctions. So not the chart, not the candlesticks. Start from auctions and start from like maybe reading Wyckoff. It's old stuff. It's pretty like older than boomer stuff, but it still
Uh-huh.
works. And market profile. Not because market profile is, a secret tool. Is not. Is a very mainstream tool, and you can do without it. But that teaches you about market efficiency and the distribution of price. So why, for example, we retrace moves, why price moves in a certain way, and you can then trade any time frame because
Yep.
all time frames respect that. So I suggest maybe reading Jim Dalton, Markets in Profile. That's a nice book. And then he also made a new book that came out, Markets and Momentum.
Markets and
It's called.
momentum. Okay.
Yeah, Markets in Profile is probably 30, 40 years old
Mm.
as a book. And of course, even Dalton he changed his own take on how to read profiles. So a lot of stuff that he said in marketing profile is not applicable anymore
Mm.
as far as he's concerned. Then I might disagree on some things, but let's say the patterns that you read everywhere, the market profile patterns. Then Dalton in the last book said, I think that's bullshit. And I
Mm.
wrote it. So he said, I was wrong. But it's still useful to understand the distribution of price and the auctions, and he explains that very well in Markets in Profile. Then I also, well, not to shield myself, but I wrote a lot of articles. They're all free, so I explain the same stuff in easier terms.
Nice.
And then later, just with price distribution, auction market theory, that's pretty good to start trading level to level. So that's what I advise people start from,
Sweet.
and even paper trading on
Yeah.
TradingView. Good.
Paper trading. That's how I started as well. For a bit of time. Didn't want to get into some trades and lose a ton of money. But those are some great recommendations on those books. I'll definitely check them out. Might have to order a couple of them to read as well. So I appreciate those recommendations. Now, kind of a lasting question.
Hmm.
Do you still enjoy what you do trading as much as the first that you started? And if you could change anything, what would it be?
So I think I enjoy the market. I enjoy the charts. I enjoy reading, researching. Trading itself is extremely boring.
Yeah.
Once you do it, at least the type of trading that I do, once you do it in a consistent way, because it's like, I don't know if you play video games,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I play a little
but
bit of video
it's,
games.
I still play some, but when I was younger, I used to play like MMORPGs. This open world, you have, your little character, and then you go around farming monsters, right? And you have to kill a bazillion of them. They all drop something.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, you go and sell that shit to the NPC, and you made a little bit of money, and tomorrow you go and do the same thing. That's what we do here.
Yeah.
We're far. And you have to slay the fucking monster every day for years. And chances are that if you're a discretionary trader, your edge, as in, the type of setups you trade and stuff like that, is not going to decay. Maybe it will change a little bit over time, but you have to do the same fucking shit all day,
Yeah.
over and over. And the thrill comes from the stuff that then you can do with the freedom trading gives you. But that's going to be hide. like I don't know, whatever you dig, that travel or the car, whatever you like,
Mm-hmm.
the motorcycle, the doesn't matter. All those things that give you a thrill, seek for them outside of trading, and that this is also what I would tell myself in the past. Seek the thrill outside of trading. Trading has to be a little bit boring. You can take one trade forever if
Yep.
it works every day. That's boring. But when you maybe made a very good trade one day and you're like, oh, I'm gonna buy myself, whatever, because that's what money do. They buy you stuff, so you
Mm-hmm.
you like and just making bullshit up. But that Versace shirt or whatever, that watch,
Yeah.
if it's your thing, right, that's gonna give you the thrill you look for. But
Yep.
the Wall Street, Gordon Gekko bullshit, this type of trading,
Yeah.
well, it's not what we do.
100%. I'm still I'm still enjoying it. Like you said, for the freedom, being able to, use the profits and things like that. But yeah, taking those trades can get mundane sometimes for sure. But yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to do this again. I'll give you the stage to kind of share where people can find you and what goals and stuff you have for yourself in the future, like and what you're doing.
All right. No, well, first thing, thank you for having me because I like chatting about markets and like it was nice getting to know you.
Thank you.
Pretty
Yeah.
nice guy. And where you can find me shit posting on X. And sometimes I realize I go a little bit like too off the deep end, like making a meme on the charts, but
Yeah.
there's a message in there. It's just that I'm extremely bored, as I said. So I might get creative with my stuff. But I'm doing this to pay it forward because other people me
hmm
for free and they did it their own way. So I'm doing the same thing. Yeah, you can also go and buy the program of someone. Most of them are good, I assume. I give some free education. You can. I have a pinned post. It's all free, so I'm not even making money off of this. It's just if you're looking
Yeah.
for free education, free stuff, you can find some stuff there, articles, videos, and yeah, scalping course now is gonna drop. It's not public yet, but I'm gonna drop it. There's a market profile course or the flow course and stuff
Nice.
like that. It's all free. I'm not an educator, so some stuff is like explained a little bit like in a weird way, but I
No,
do
it's
it for
still
fun.
great.
I do it
Yeah,
for fun.
it's still amazing, and I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a lot of traders out there that could definitely benefit from that as well. And I'll definitely be checking out that video whenever you
And
upload it and stuff. So yeah, that's
it's in
exciting.
the Telegram. Telegram's free. You
Plug
you
it
can
free.
find the videos. Yeah, it's free. Like the Discord is kind of gated, but not paying, just
Yeah.
codes and stuff like that. But it's mostly for bots to gate bots because I had so many scammers going in and
Oh
like
yeah.
posting links and so on. Like fuck it,
Yeah.
and to cover the expenses of the channel. So,
Other
but
channel stuff.
the Telegram doesn't cost me anything, right? So most of the stuff there is free,
Nice.
and it's also free in the other venues, just
Sweet.
like it's a little bit gated. But yeah, most of the
Nice.
stuff in the Telegram, and that's it. Like I'm not shilling anything. I just like to chat about markets.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I do analysis and things like that.
No,
Right?
that's amazing. I think you said a lot of great things in this interview, and a lot of great things people can think about, especially whenever they're trading. And for everyone listening, make sure to go show Mazino some love. Follow him. Check out some of the articles he's written about trading, and yeah, this concludes this episode of Trench Talk.